Hari Om. On behalf of Maharishi Patanjali Group of Schools, I welcome Param Pujya Swami Chidrupanandaji, who is presently the Director, North Zone of All India Chinmay Yuva Kendra and is also the key speaker of today's webinar. I also welcome the learned participants who have joined this webinar today, which includes renowned principals, directors, and teachers of various schools of Allahabad, Varanasi, Delhi, etc., as well as some learned members of the Chinmay Mission. As you all know, the whole world is facing a situation of fear and uncertainty due to the pandemic COVID-19, which has not only threatened our safety and existence, but has also caused us tremendous stress and emotional imbalance. At such a critical juncture, Maharishi Patanjali Group of Schools felt the dire need to invite someone who can guide us to be proactive about our mental health and face the challenges that have engulfed the entire humanity. Swami Chidrupananji, who has always rejuvenated us with his ever-flowing grace and has helped us to understand the higher meaning of life, came to our thoughts. We have experienced that he is a great psychologist and a healer who can dive deep into the oceans of anxiety of his devotees and relieve them from the agony, giving them freedom from stress and fear. Swami Chidrupananji is going to enlighten us on the topic Steps to Professional Excellence based on the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad during pandemic. I am sure that today's talk would help us to emerge out of this cascade of uncertainty in which we find us caught with. May I now request our Honorary Secretary, Madam Dr. Krishna Gupta, to welcome Swamiji. Krishna Madam is our beacon light who time and again rekindles the spark within us by her vision and her far-sightedness. She constantly provides us the opportunities to be blessed by attending such divine and holy lectures and webinars based on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Sushmita. Hari Om, Swamiji, and my greetings to all who are attending this webinar. By the grace of Sri Krishna and blessings of our elders, we have been able to connect with all of you live through Zoom, as well as we are connecting live through the Facebook. This webinar has been able to bring together teachers, principals, management, educators, and people from across the country. Our school, our institution, Maharishi Patanjali Group of Schools, draws its inspiration from the vision of our founder, President, late Shri Lokmani Lalji, who strongly believed that the only way of regenerating and empowering the nation was through lighthouses of learning. Lighthouses which would be able to assimilate Indian value content with the fast advancing scientific knowledge. He believed in assimilation of tradition with modernity, science with spirituality. So all our schools believe in holistic and value-based education. For us, education is training of mind to think creatively, innovatively, training of the heart to be sensitive, loving, to relate, to be able to relate to others, and training of the hands to be able to serve with dedication. My salutations to Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanand, the founder of Chinmay Mission. And it was Swamiji who actually pioneered the spiritual reawakening of India and the world. Having attained self-realization in the Himalayas, he took the inspiration from the flowing Ma Ganga and decided to carry forth the nectar of the Upanishads and Srimad Bhagavad Gita to the masses. The Sandipani Sadhanalayas set up by him for the training of Vedantic seekers has been able to give us such a wonderful team of great teachers and devoted saints, wise saints who have been transforming lives all over the globe. So we are really, really very, very grateful to Gurudev because we have been listening to the great saints of Chinmay Mission and drawing inspiration from them during this very critical pandemic situation. Swami Chidrupanand, who is the keynote speaker today, he has been associated, as you've already been told, with the Chinmay Mission from his childhood. He has been blessed by Gurudev, and he is really very, very popular with the youngsters. But he has also been a wonderful guide to the elders, to the parents, to the teachers, and also to the professionals. He has inspired the listeners by his illuminating discourses and by his lively talks. Patanjali group of teachers have been very fortunate to have learned the precious principles of Bhagavad Gita from Swamiji. And in fact, his most powerful and enriching discourses have recharged all of us with spiritual energy and has helped us to become effective and inspiring teachers. Who can inspire us better than Swamiji during this pandemic, which has led to such a chaos, on such a massive scale? It has created a fear psychosis. In fact, fear and anxiety, stress are gripping all the people of the world. Overcoming fear and facing life boldly is very, very important. Since we have all been locked down since March, it is also necessary for us to unlock our creativity and our divinity latent within. It is essential for us to draw power and courage from within and to connect with our higher self. For this, only a spiritual guru can show us the right path and the right direction. Although schools are closed, but learning continues. Let me say this, there is a paradigm shift in the field of education. We have moved away from classroom learning to home learning, to online teaching. We have moved away from, if I can say, materialistic education to spiritual education, from teacher-centric learning to learner-centric, child-centric learning, or rather self-learning. Teachers have been working very hard to really equip themselves with digital skills and to carry learning amidst all the challenges to the doorstep of the child. They also are facing a lot of anxiety and stress, but we have to learn to be more patient, and we have to handle the problems one by one with fortitude. We have to restore the confidence of the parents and the learners, the children. Today, Swamiji will be unfolding the steps to professional excellence, which will be based on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a true panacea during pandemic. What can be a better text than Srimad Bhagavad Gita to really teach us how to face life amidst all challenges with a tranquil mind? We have to draw our courage, our inspiration, our strength, our hope from this universal text. We are eagerly looking forward to Swamiji's illuminating guidance, and I'm very, very sure, very confident that listeners will take back with them very pearls of wisdom and keys of hope, which will help them to overcome the challenges. To all, Hari Om.
Good morning, everyone. We will just close your eyes, please. We'll just have Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu Shloka. First we chant 3 times Om, and then that Shloka we chant. Very simple, everybody knows. Let us tune to the divinity. Om Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om, everybody, and nice being here today with the Patanjali group, and thanks to Krishnaji for organizing this, and wonderful to see the faces of principals. So friends, so today we'll be completing, when we start the talk on professional excellence. So today I'm going to take 3 steps mainly. Let us discuss about it. What is a practice of excellence? Why we should do to increase our benchmark performance? First step. So what kind of practices we must do in order to increase our excellence? And second thing is, what do you mean by performance? Performance actually is the expression of the beauty of action. You know, whatever action we do, the beauty of action is called performance. Not performance under pressure, stress and strain, and many constraints and inner irritations, unhappiness. That's not performance. So performance means what? Expression of beauty at the intellectual level, at the mental level, and at the body level, there is a beauty of expression, performance level, when at the level of performance. And third thing is productivity. Always remember, productivity is always linked to the inner state of the being. You are a being. So what is the inner state of your being? So that which your inner state of being, mind and intellect is composed, calm, quiet, and of course inspired. There is the right kind of environment is created. For example, you are listening now. Even for listening also, there is the right kind of environment is required, both mentally, intellectually, and the body level, of course. And similarly, there is the right kind of environment is required for the speaker to convey the thoughts. So all these things are necessary. So now, what do you mean by excellence then? First, let us come to definition of excellence. Excellence, please listen now. I can't share the screen, otherwise you would have seen it. Doesn't matter. Excellence means what? Spontaneous channelization. Spontaneous channelization of energies. Which energy? Intellectual energy, mental energy, and physical energy. They're all in line. So intellect, buddhi, plus mind and the physical body, they are perfectly attuned. There is a straight line drawn, perfect connectivity. So when these three are aligned perfectly, energies flow beautifully towards a given piece of work. And when that energies are flowing towards a work, that energies are backed by inspiration. So inspiration is there at the backside, and the work is executed through love. So when the work is executed with love, backed by inspiration, and all the energies of intellect, mind, and body are beautifully aligned, and then what happens? It brings out a fragrance. That fragrance of that self-expression with these conditions, what I mentioned just now, is called excellence. So beautifully, mind is, so there's no friction. There's no friction. For example, simple, you take example, mother cooks food. So intellectually, mother is inspired. Mentally also is tuned to cooking. Physically, she is healthy to perform. And therefore, there is a beautiful process involved there. And that brings out expression of excellence. Because she is inspired to cook and backed by love for that family, for whoever eats food today, with the love she wanted to cook. So when all these things have come together, that food becomes so beautiful. It becomes amrita, nectar. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, there is one shloka is there. What is that shloka? This is Gita, 3rd chapter, 7th shloka. What does it say? You can, I will pause after every bit. You can repeat after me if you're very serious about it. Assuming you will repeat, I'm chanting the shloka. What is that? Yastvindriyani manasa. Yastvindriyani manasa. Niyamyarabhaterjuna. Niyamyarabhaterjuna. Karmendriyai karma yogam. Asaktasya vishishyate. This is shloka. Karmendriyai karma yogam. Asakta savishishyate. Savishishyate. He excels. Bhagavan Krishna says, he excels. Who excels is given there. There are 3 components Bhagavan Krishna speaks for excellence. 3 components.
Swamiji, you can share the screen now.
Let me try. Yes. Are you able to see now?
Yes, yes, Swamiji.
Okay. This is a beautiful shloka. So I am also relaxed. Otherwise, I get doubt whom you are looking at. Okay. Now, Amma, you can switch off your mic, unmute,
Yes,
mute everybody.
Sorry.
Now, Who excels? Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya rahate Arjuna. Now you can read the sloka. So karmendriyahi karma yogam asakta savishishyate. So beautiful sloka it is. Now you can write down the notes also. Bhagavan says there are three components in bringing out excellence. Excellence in any field. Whether teacher or principal or a leader or a chartered accountant or a pilot or a corporate leader or anyone, anybody, in fact, everybody is a leader. So now, this is a sloka. Three components are there. Let us now see each component and we'll analyze each component. What does it mean? Then we'll get to an understanding what excellence is. So first one. So key points in excellence are what? Number one, controlling the senses by the mind. Yahatu indriyani manasa niyamya. Sense organs are there. The mechanism like this. Body is external most, and inside the body, the faculties are working. Indriyas are working, sense organs, and sense organs are running around towards the world. In the world, the eyes see the form, ears are attracted towards sounds, tongue is attracted towards taste, skin is attracted towards touch. So now, similarly, all the five sense organs, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So all these sense organs are constantly running out into the world. In fact, they distract us. Because of their running around into the world, they distract our attention. We cannot focus. So Bhagavan Krishna says, one should control these senses. How? By what? By the mind. By the mind. But what is happening now with us? Mind and sense organs have become friends. So sense organs are more powerful. So they pull the mind, convince the mind, take the mind into their own fields of activities. This is what happens. So first, if you want to excel, the sense organs should be brought under the control of the mind. First excellence, first component. We'll analyze the further what does it mean. Second component is what? Yastindriyani manasa niyamya. Next one is, Bhagavan Krishna says, engaging our organs of action in karma yoga. So sense organs are controlled, organs of senses are there. Five sense organs are called jnanendriyas, which are five, and motor organs, which are action oriented, are five. So all these hands and legs especially and speech are engaged in karma yoga. So there is a beautiful synchronization. So mind and sense organs are together always, and this prana shakti, the energy, and karmendriyas are together. So karmendriyas are to be engaged in karma yoga. Second component. We'll analyze what is it. Each one we'll analyze now. Third one is Bhagavan Krishna gave another condition. Asaktaha. Asaktaha means without attachment. Without attachment. These are three conditions. If three conditions are fulfilled, excellence just comes out. Whether you sweep the floor, it is an excellent action. It becomes an excellence. An excellence expresses out of it. Cooking the food, preparing tea, or walking, talking, your behavior, you are contributing to your own work in your own fields. Whatever you do, excellence becomes a benchmark for you. It's easy, but it is natural, it is spontaneous. I have seen some great people, whatever they think, they act, every movement of theirs, there's a beauty expressing out of it, everything. Not a beauty, artificial beauty I'm talking about. It's a natural beauty. So let us see now, one by one we will see. First one is what? Yahatu, yastu, indriyani, yastvindriyani, yahatu, indriyani, manasa niyamya. First one. Control the senses by the mind. What do you mean by control the senses by the mind? First one, let us see now. First point, write down this. Meaning what? Focus on the work without deviation. Friends, remember, you can practice this. You can observe, you can put a scale, you can mentally observe. Whatever is small work you take up, how long you can focus on it without any deviation. It's called absorption. You absorb yourself in the divine work or whatever work you do. Every work is divine. So you work in that, absorption is there. So mind is absorbed and therefore you will not be conscious of time. So whenever mind is absorbed in activity, we lose the sense of time. So first of all, what do you mean by controlling the senses by the mind? Meaning achieving a beautiful degree, a greater degree of performing all our actions without deviation. First one. Second meaning means what? Mind is controlling the senses. Means what? You are aware of your priorities. Not only being aware of priorities, you have got that capacity to stick to your priorities. Like students you take, teachers you take, everybody you take, anyone you take. They said, oh, we know our priorities. Yeah, we know our priorities. You don't have to teach me. We know. But our actions are not according to our knowledge or understanding. इसीलिए ना किसी को पढ़ाना बहुत मुश्किल है क्योंकि सब लोग कहते हैं हम जानते हैं. Do you know smoking is injurious to health? Of course I know. You don't have to teach me. No, it spoils your liver and chest and ribs and everything, lungs and everything. I know, you don't have to describe. But I am unable to live according to my knowledge. Are you not convinced about this fact that smoking is injurious to health? 100% I give lectures also. So therefore, we should be aware of the priorities. Aware means what? I include in it, in the bracket, that ability to stick to those priorities because of your born out of your wisdom. Focus is there without deviation. That is the meaning of yahatu indriyani manasa niyamya. That is the meaning of controlling the senses by the mind. Third one is very beautiful, friends. Remember, your success in life depends upon your ability to drop non-essentials. Very nice point it is. You know, everywhere there are so many non-essentials crop up. So what I should do? I must know that this is non-essential. If I know, so that means I must have wisdom and I must be aware. I must live in the present to know, to be conscious of non-essentials coming on the way. They're all tempting me. They're all trying to deviate me. Non-essentials. So these non-essentials, if I'm aware, I must also have got the capacity, energy from within to drop it. This is not the time right now, drop it. What I'm telling, friends, the meaning behind controlling the senses by the mind means what? A, B, C are all included in it. Fourth one is agility of the mind as per your command. See, so far, in general, all of us have been living under the control and dictates of the mind. It's a mind which decides and dictates us. But when I want to control the 5 sense organs with the mind should be available, no, to me. If mind itself is indisciplined and is just like for manager and workers are there, manager can manage the work only when the manager is available. If manager himself is not available and workers cannot be controlled. Think about it. A class teacher, if his class teacher is missing, how can you control the class? There must be somebody called teacher to look into the class requirements, to control them, to ask them, to engage them constructively. The teacher is missing. You see, each child behaves in his own way or her own way. Therefore, you have to agility of the mind. So I command my mind, oh mind, this is the work to be done now. Please cooperate and start focusing on it. Accordingly behave. So I order the mind. Who orders the mind? I order the mind based on my wisdom. So that ordered mind receives my orders and is very, very faithfully executing. So is the first frontline manager is the mind, handling the team of 5 people. The frontline manager has got the capacity to dictate the terms to the 5 sense organs, to control them and bring them into activity. Therefore, what? Mind should be agile. So mind should be under my dictates. So unless my mind listens to me, when I say my mind, it means it should listen to me. Unless it happens, I cannot control the sense organs. So controlling the senses by the mind means all these factors. In fact, on each topic, we can have a workshop for 3 hours. I'll give an example. What do you mean by teaching without losing focus in the class? What do you mean by that? We can have a discussion on that. So like every work and every point, we can have a discussion. And the last one is backed by wisdom in the intellect. Why, sir? Listen now. See, mind has to be trained. Mind on itself, by itself, is not wise. मन का स्वभाव क्या है? चंचलता. So mind nature is restlessness. चंचलम ही मन कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवत् दृढ़म् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम्. Hey Krishna, I consider controlling the mind is like controlling the wind. It's very difficult because the very nature of the mind is restlessness. Therefore, to control in order to bring the sense organs and engage them in a disciplined way in a creative work, mind is required. The manager is required. But manager himself is not trained. So to train the manager, there must be another wise man, wise person behind the mind. Who could be the wise person or wise entity in us? It is called buddhi. So who should train your mind? Your buddhi should train your mind. So backed by wisdom in the intellect. Now wonderful. If the intellect has to be backed by wisdom, meaning what? Intellect must have wisdom. Oh. Now what is wisdom? Wisdom means what? Wisdom is nothing but churned experiences. CHURNED. Churned. When you live your experiences and you churn them, we don't churn our experiences well. We don't reflect on our experiences well. We don't analyze our experiences well. Even though lessons are taught, we don't take them seriously. So when I churn my experiences by thinking, by reflecting on entire my life, my experiences, through my studies, I got experience. By working, I got some experience. Out of the churned experience, I get wisdom. Like for example, mother who is the mother to the first baby born to her, a baby girl or a baby boy, first child, she is not experienced. Invariably, her mother or somebody is required to train that mother, new mother, how to handle the baby, how to give the baby bath, how to feed baby, breastfeed, or if the feeding with the spoon, or what kind of things, what kind of diseases are likely to come, what the child is crying, what could be the possible, what are the reasons they could be. So many things. The new mother is actually beautifully trained. Once she has become mother of 2, 3, 4 children, for example, subsequently she becomes wiser person. She knows how to handle the child. She knows the psychology of the child. So she can handle 4 or 5 children also easily, and also neighbors' children also she can easily handle. Meaning what? She became wise. Wisdom is what? Born out of churned experience. Meaning learning out of experiences. This is one kind of wisdom. One kind of wisdom is born out of churning the experiences of life. One wisdom. Second wisdom is wisdom gained by looking by looking at others in society. Hey, look here, look that fellow. He is a constant drinking, and he lost his liver, ultimately died. So I don't have to drink and spoil to accept that drinking is injurious to health. I learned from others' experience. I need not go through my personal experience. Paroksha experience it is called. So I saw others, not Pratyaksha Anubhav, but I saw others. Oh, I think these are things that are happening. So I think when I look at other people, and these are the experiences they have faced because of these are the consequences that they have faced because of those experiences. Therefore, I must be away. I learned a lesson from others. Thus, your wisdom grows. Like other teacher also did not teach well or did not understand that concept. She used that method in teaching. It did not succeed. She only told me. That means that method may not work. So let me think about something added wisdom. And most important way of wisdom, another important way of wisdom is through study of books or satsang, either by listening or by studies. You study, you gain your wisdom, understand, and then convert that knowledge into wisdom. And that wise intellect or buddhi alone, mark my words, wise buddhi alone is capable of controlling the mind. Sometimes wise buddhi may slip from its wisdom. Then you face the consequences, the music of life. But you learn the lesson out of it. Next time you be more careful. That becomes experience. Therefore, unless the buddhi is strong, wise enough, we will not be in a position to control, to coach our mind. So friends, so buddhi has to coach the mind. Mind is a frontline manager handling the team, the sense organs, and then mind can handle the sense organs. Then sense organs are disciplined. So whoever he be, he who, yaha, the one who is capable of controlling the senses with their minds, number one. Excellence के लिए first component. So we analyze first component. Second component. यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्य कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् आरभते अर्जुन. Now, कर्मयोगम् आरभते. What is that? He is engaging the organs of action in karma yoga. What do you mean by that? Karma yoga. First one. What is your role? A very interesting question, friends. I don't know you are listening with attentiveness or not. I don't know. Through Zoom, I cannot see your eyes. In a way, you are lucky. I am also lucky. But I just think about it. What are our roles in life? Please think. In Dharma Shastras, Bhagavad Gita explains that roles are to be there, fulfilled and all. But in Dharma Shastras explain so many duties, our roles and commitments according to our workplace, according to our age, according to our relationship with different people, according to our so much of position in society, and so many ways. And I'm not going to that subject. But my question is, are we continuously aware of our roles and commitments in this life, or we forget? A great Mahatma, he said in one of his books, if you follow the directions of the scriptures, where they told us how to live life, how to act in a day, what are the responsibilities, varna, ashrama, dharma. If you practice, if you try to live according to that, he says, you will not be left with any time for self-destruction. Amazing it is. Like for example, one who is preparing for IAS or IPS or any other sports, their focus is maximum. And they are not capable of destroying themselves during that peak period of their studies because their mind is not going at all outside, constantly focusing only on the subject. So they are committed. They are aware. In dream also, they dream only those things. In sleep also, they dream only those things. IAS writing exam, discussing as though they are going into library or as though they're discussing with their professor constantly. Meaning what? When you are so much committed to your activities and roles, mind it gets so disciplined, I tell you. So then only you can engage your organs of action in proper activities. So be aware. Like when all of your many mothers are listening now, if you know how much you are aware and whatever it can be, next day morning, of course, I have to cook food, prepare tea, make breakfast, and make lunch and pack them in the boxes for everybody. And so much of work. She's aware. She cannot say, oh, and so no mother will say that, oh, I forgot to make cooking food today. I don't know how I forgot. Nobody will say that. So therefore, you are aware of your roles and commitments. First point. First, the second component, the first clause. Second one is what? That means what? If you are engaging your actions of your organs of action properly in Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, I don't have to tell you, in India, everybody knows. What is what? Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana. Why? The fruits are yet to be born in future. And remember one principle. Fruits are not directly proportional to our effort. Because our efforts plus many other components are added, then only the result is given. That other components which are added are not in our hand directly. For example, natural calamities, or exam cancelled, or exam postponed, or you become sick, or somebody died, or you met with an accident and your vehicle is nothing happened to you, thank God, but vehicle is spoiled, therefore you could not reach on time to examination hall. All the factors are not in your control. Bhagavan says, forget about other factors. You cannot even think because there could be any umpteen number of reasons may be there. So that you cannot work out all those things. Best thing is you focus what is in your hand. What is in your hand? Study well, prepare well. That's it. You can take care of your health. But you can't, somebody's death, you can't stop. So direction is well set. This is my direction. In this life, this is my direction. As a teacher, this is my direction. As a student, this is my direction. As a secretary or the organizer of the institution, this is my direction. As a principal, this is my direction. As a Swami, this is my direction. So direction is well set. Third one is no anxieties for the future results. As I just now told you, that there is no anxiety. Why? Because their fruit is not in my hand. हम क्या सोचते हैं, बीज बोता उसके अनुसार वृक्ष निकलना है. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. बीज बोने के बाद और फल, इसके बीच में बहुत सारे कारण हो सकता है, जो कई कारण हो सकते हैं जिसका आपका कोई संबंध नहीं हो सकता. Sunlight is required, water is required, so many factors are required. The inherent quality of the seed should be proper. You cannot open the seed and see whether the quality is there or not. You cannot recognize that way the quality. It's very tough. Therefore, in the pandemic also, don't get too much anxiety. Kya hoga, kya hoga, kya hoga. Nobody can answer, no? Why ask questions? Only one can answer, God. Go and ask God only. What is the future of the earth? Forget about it. What is to be done now? You protect yourself from coronavirus. Pray for everybody. Help everybody around you, those who are in need of some money. Help them. So many things, what will happen to this academic year? Nobody knows. So don't dream anything and get disappointed. And fourth one is, beautiful, our Swami Chinmayananji, our Puja Gurudev always says, when people would ask him, please give us some message, he would say, keep the mind where your hands are working. Very simple yoga it is, very great yoga. जहां आपका हाथ है वहीं आपका मन होना चाहिए. तो हमारा क्या है, मन कहाँ कहीं भाग रहा है और हाथ कहीं है काम कर रहे हैं, और जब क्या हथौड़े लेके मैं कीले मार रहा हूं, मन चला गया, हथौड़े सीधा उंगली पर गिरेगा. तब आएगा मन क्या हुआ करके. By then the damage is done. Therefore, keep the mind where your hands are working. But that means what? Karmendriya karma yoga. This is the meaning. I am talking of only excellence based on Gita. Asakta san. Wow, very good. Third important thing is in the process of controlling the senses by the mind, in the process of your focus on work without any deviation, when you're practicing karma yoga, one quality constantly must be there inside. Mind should be freed from attachments. Our Swami Chinmayanand Ji, Puja Gurudev says, see, listen, you are walking. Suppose your feet is stuck to the ground. One feet is stuck to the ground. So this feet you put leg you put forward. This you cannot lift because you attach it to the ground. So this also got attached to the ground the moment you place it on the ground. So both legs are attached to the ground. Can you move? No progress is possible. Like, the train runs on the track. So in Indian trains you take. There are some trains maybe they above the track they move. I'm not talking of those things, magnetic and all. I'm Indian trains I'm talking. Indian trains may the contact between the wheel and the track is necessary. Wheel is there, track is necessary. But the wheel and the track should not get attached. Then the movement is not possible. Think about it. So you can move in life only when you are not attached mentally. Otherwise you cannot progress. So Bhagavan Krishna says, there are three types of asaktis are there in Shastras, they are mentioned. Mahatmas have spoken about it. You can read that. One is karma asakti. Karma ke prati asakti. Like addicted hobbies. लॉकडाउन में घर पे बैठो नहीं बैठ सकता हूँ क्यों आया तो गोल्फ खेलने का शौक है गोल्फ के बिना मेरा प्राण वही चलता है golf course I have to go to golf course or I have to do this I have to do that नहीं मैं रोज माल जाना मेरा आदत है माल ही बंद हो गया तो मैं क्या करूँ अभी मेरा प्राण चला गया प्राण क्यों लोकल माल इज क्लोज्ड भाई कुछ काम के लिए रोज जाते हो क्या माल में नहीं कुछ काम नहीं है हैबिट मुझे अच्छा लगता है आई एम एडिक्टेड टू गोइंग टू मॉल एवरी डे सो मेनी पीपल आर देयर lockdown has taught so many good things I tell you that's why I call in from one angle don't misunderstand me from one angle it is not coronavirus it is karuna virus compassion the virus which attacked humanity out of compassion so that hum sudhar jayenge so one is karma ke prati asakti I am not worried of results also I am attached to work second thing is Vishaya asakti Indriya asakti or attachment to a particular object I like the particular object I like particular dish attached to some people attached to tomato every day or some people attached to pyaz तो विषय आसक्ति खाने के बारे में बता रहा हूं मैं some are attached to some particular thing so एक विषय के प्रति या वस्तु के प्रति आकर्षित होना आसक्ति that also spoils the peace of mind so कर्म के प्रति आसक्ति हो विषय के प्रति आसक्ति हो या इंद्रिय के प्रति आसक्ति हो particular भोग a particular enjoyment either for to tongue taste or eyes or ears some kind of bhog I'm enjoying I want to see this movie or continue this movie some people are addicted to watching this you know what all happening So one indriya attached to one particular anubhav, experience. And third one is phalasakti. As we discussed, extremely attached to fruits. क्या होगा, मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. Anxiety for fruits, over anxiety for the fruits. Fruit मिलेगा, भाई आपने कर्म किया तो फल मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. तो फल का स्वरूप कैसा होगा, आप चिंता मत करो. Bhagavan Krishna says, if while acting in the present, if you are worried about the future, mind splits. Suppose 90% of mind is worried about the future result, anxious about the future result. 10% of mind only is in the present. What would be the quality of such an action? Where 10% of mind alone is allowed to function there. 10% only focused mind. 90% of mind is worried about future. While working the action in the present, what will happen to that action? Action goes off. No, I'm only 99% I can live in the present. 1% there is somewhere, and better at least. Okay, 1%. But one fellow who is not worried about the mind, total 100% mind is engaged only in the present. Now I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Whether you are there or not, lucky, my inspiration to talk is not diminished. You may switch off and go. Even if one is there, if nobody is there, I may continue my talk. Afterwards, I may come to know that everybody left me. I don't know. But I am inspired. For what? It is I am reflecting this beautiful subject called Bhagavad Gita. So, karma sakti, vishaya sakti or indriya sakti, object or indriya sense organ prati, ek particular vishesh bhog ke prati asakti, or phalasakti. When all these asaktis are removed, you can flow. You can flow with life. You are not stuck up and worried now. You can flow during lockdown also. So you are not disturbed. Mind is so peaceful, calm, quiet. Yes, challenges come. Yes, the situation is good. Not so good. Very good. But I have to attend to it. Very good. Let me attend. Uncertainties are there everywhere. Yes, we have to face it. We will discuss it out. We will figure it out. So this is what Bhagavan Krishna says, you will get excellence. Savishishyate. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya rabhate arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktas savishishyate. Savishishyate. He excels. Beautiful. So what are the components to bring out excellence? I told you. What is excellence? I told you alignment of intellect, mind and body. And the natural spontaneity of action is coming out, backed by inspiration and served with love, then spread in the fragrance of the beautiful work and your personality, aroma. It will spread everywhere, and that is called excellence. Now, having completed that, I think I have to start now. Steps to professional excellence. Okay, sir. Give us some steps now. Bhagavad Gita point of view, we have seen. Now, simple steps. Simple steps you can write down for excellence. Very simple. First thing is, you can read it. Please realize that excellence is your birthright. Realize that. Never forget this. Don't say, can I get excellence? I am so dummy candidate in the world. I am so depressed candidate, rejected, left over by everybody, and I am rejected by everybody. No, each soul is divine. You are divine. Divinity is in you. Not divinity is in you, you are divine. Therefore, everywhere you can bring excellence. It is your birthright. It has nothing to do with the competition. It has nothing to do with the marks. You can bring out your excellence at any time. That ability, that potential is in all of us. Okay? So first point, step. So excellence what? demands a clarity of thoughts, purity of intentions, and dynamism in action. Three things. Your very thoughts are clarified, no doubts in it. Intentions are pure, and actions are dynamic. Then excellence comes out. Second, 10 steps I can complete. Increase your knowledge on daily basis. Like you give importance to exercise on daily basis, medicines to be taken, if at all, to be taken on daily basis. Prayer, some people believe, of course it is good. Prayer cannot be occasional, should be daily. Meditation should be daily. Similarly, every day add some knowledge to your buddhi. There are my goodness, what can I tell you? The world, can you tell me how many crores and crores and crores and crores and crores of books have been published so far? You did not read all the books, I'm telling you, can't read also. But read, such a beautiful books like, Ramayana is there, Kaschit Sarga is there, Kaschit Sarga. When Bharatji goes to Ramji to ask him that, you have to come back to kingdom because father died. I will not be holding this responsibility. I'm sorry for my mother, what she did. So please come back. Ramji said, but before that, Ramji asked questions. Bhai, batao, Kaschit Sarga, hope this is done. Hope you are doing this way. Hope everything like this. He asked questions. Around 76 slokas are there. In that, so many questions Rama asked. Through the questions, he taught leadership. For example, I hope you are checking your notebooks every day. I hope you are preparing for your classes every day. I hope you are encouraging your students every day. I hope you are available to your students every day. I hope you are smiling in the class, not laughing unnecessarily, and not frowning face. I hope the people are happy in your presence. I hope students are feeling inspired in your presence. I hope you are creating a family spirit in the classroom. How many questions I asked? Like that, Ramji asked about leadership qualities. You can read that, or you can study in Valmiki Ramayana. In the beginning, only 100 slokas are there. The portrait, who could be a perfect human being? Is there any human being with a perfect qualities? Naraji, Samvad and Valmiki, Samvad and the Valmiki Ramayana. It's a big subject it is. You read Bhagavad Gita, huge. You read wonderful books are available in modern by authors also. They are all based on scriptures. Read good books, no? Instead of reading novels and getting confused, or instead of reading certain things which are actually doesn't cause anything. I know WhatsApp also, certain things I don't even read. It's not necessary for me. We are unnecessarily curious. And upon every nonsense, we are curious. So, second step is increase your knowledge every day. Let the new knowledge ring in your ears, ring in your mind. So, gain life knowledge, not only academic knowledge, and update your academic knowledge. Of course, it is necessary. And willpower to translate into action. Develop the willpower. How do you increase your willpower? Through prayer. Through ascertaining yourself again and again that I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I am capable of doing it. The divinity is within me. Somebody asked the technique of Tejabayanand Guruji always said, किसी ने पूछा उनके पास जाकर स्वामी जी सुबह सुबह 4 बजे उठने के लिए क्या करना है? स्वामी जी को उठना है बस, क्या करना है? उठने के लिए क्या करना है? उठना है. उठो. तो उठने के लिए क्या करना है? The wrong question it is. चलने के लिए क्या करना है? चलो. चल पड़ो रोड पे. मॉर्निंग वॉक करो. So willpower to translate that knowledge into action is necessary. Okay, step 2. Step 3. Wow, this is a great skill. Murchu Paryanta. जब तक हम मरेंगे नहीं तब तक we have to navigate this with the help of the mind. We should navigate the sansara, so many problems. So you have to manage the mind very, very tactfully. At every moment mind is trying to deceive us. Friends, remember, this is great psychologist. You take Patanjali Maharshi, great psychologist, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Anyway, they always warned us, Bhagavan Krishna warned us, that mind games are mind boggling. Mind games. So one thing we all should learn in human beings, how to manage this mind tactfully. So again I said, you read the books, attend satsangs, discussions, contemplate, meditate, experiment. So mind is the real doer, not the body. Body doesn't do anything. So since mind is the real doer, we have to manage the mind, the doer, properly. Okay, and 3 leakages are there in the mind. 3 leakages. You can refer this sloka, 3rd chapter, 30th sloka. 3rd chapter, 3.30. Bhagavan Krishna speaks there. Nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. Gurudev is very fond of this sloka also. He used to speak about this 45 minutes to the youth about mind management. What is that? 3 leakages. Mind is there. It's like a beautiful reservoir of energy. The energy is leaking out. What? Some percentage is leaking out through anxieties of future. Mind is running away in the future. Some is dragging the past into the present. The energy is leaked out into past through past hole. One hole is called future hole. One hole is called past hole. Another is in the present unnecessary excitements. You are so disturbed, restless, you are excited, you are. So much excitation also dangerous. Energy is leaked out. You ask sportsmen while running how to save energy. While throwing a discus throw, this is energy management. All sportsmen have to master this energy management. So, and one is that bring the mind under the control of your well-equipped and wise intellect, which I covered already some time back. Okay, so this is the 3rd step. Manage your mind tactfully if you want to be excellent. 4th one. Identification with various roles in life that you play forms the platform for excellence. Now you are playing a mother role, really become a mother. So respect the work under this challenge, and the 4th excellence may respect the work. Whatever work is given, work is divine. In lockdown, interesting, lockdown has बहुत सिखाया हम लोगों को, बहुत मजा आया. All those who don't know how to wash clothes, they started washing. All husbands are working in the kitchen, making food, bartan dhona. How many jokes are coming? Our own members, mission members also. स्वामी जी क्या कर रहे हैं? बस बर्तन धो रहा हूँ. Respect the work. Now they understood that how much wife is suffering. वो नौकरानी नहीं आ रही है. They are not allowed to come. They are very scared of anybody. Look at very scared. The coronavirus coming, coronavirus moving, coronavirus talking. So much psychologically affected. Therefore, a great master has said, it is not a pandemic of virus, but it's a pandemic of fear. So now we know how much every work is important. Toilet cleaning, do it. Nobody is coming. Pressing your clothes, do it. You are not going out, you don't press also. घर में बैठ रहे हैं. But even if Zoom conference, you are okay, press your clothes, and you only press. You learn how to press the clothes. Sweeping the floor, mopping the floor. Every work, छोटा बड़ा कुछ नहीं होता काम में. Work is work. Divine. Respect the work. Honor your role. I'm a sweeper. Doesn't matter. That dignity of labor. भगवान कृष्ण के देखिए, he became charioteer to Arjuna, driver बन गया, एक्चुअली ड्राइवर बन गया, मैंने ड्राइवर का काम भी किया है, घोड़ों को साफ करना, देखना। युद्ध भूमि में एक दिन सारे घोड़े थक गए थे। ऑन द 14th डे भगवान कृष्ण रथ को बीच में रोक दिया। ऑन 14th डे ऑफ महाभारत, बिग ब्यूटीफुल स्टोरी, इट वाज वेरी एग्जॉस्टिंग एक्सपीरियंस। घोड़ों को घास खिलाया, चना खिलाया, पानी पिलाया, रथ का साफ करना। और ऐसा करते थे, पहले अर्जुन को बिठाकर जैसे गेट खोल के अर्जुन बैठने के बाद वो बैठते थे। एवरीथिंग ही डिड परफेक्टली। Honor your role and dedicate to your duty to family, country, society, universe. My home is universe, not even earth. So I'm dedicating myself to my universe. We had Patanjali school, we had on meditation, a great master beautiful statement. It is a meditation on, what is that? You must have forgotten. I will remind you. I am in the universe and the universe is in me. A powerful meditation. We have done it. So dedicate to your duty. Fifth one. I have 13 more minutes. Regularity and sincerity are wheels of the chariot of excellence. Meaning what? Regularity without sincerity leads to mechanical action. Regularly I am sitting for meditation, but not sincere. Regularly I go to school, but not sincere. I am regular. You can't, logically, technically, you cannot, legally, that's the right word. Legally, you can't find me any fault with me. You can't find any fault. I am every day coming to school, every day going to classes, every day doing my work. But sincerity is lacking. Very different it is, very difficult to measure also. So when they were regular, remember, when you are regular and not sincere, your creativity gets choked. You are sincere but not regular. Whenever I go to class, I am sincere. Or whenever I do this work, I am sincere. But you are supposed to do this work every day. No, every day I will not do that. I am not doing. So sincerity without regularity leads to ineffective, imperfect and incomplete action that would lead us nowhere. So what is excellence? Be regular and be sincere. Step number 5. Step number 6, very important. Dissolve the conflicts with the members around you. It could be family member, it could be the teams in your schools, it could be a teacher and the students forms a team. Teacher and teacher forms a team. Teachers of same class, same section teaching forms a team. Teachers of the primary and the middle school and high school, they form a team. But as a teachers of the same institution is another team. So team within the teams and teams outside the teams. As human beings, everybody is included in the team. As we are working for Patanjali group of institutions, we belong to this group called Patanjali group of institutions. Oh, very good. Then that means even Naukar or the Chaukidar also is included in the team. He is equally important as equally the principal or management. Because it's a team. You cannot say, no, a small, what the air crash investigations are coming, that Discovery Channel, I think. Oh, one day I was watching some other where that air crash investigation. The pilot saw the windscreen, one screw is loose. Windscreen होता है ना 1, 2, 3, 4 होता है ना cockpit में बैठने के बाद. Windscreen, one screw is loose. He thought, okay, one screw I can tighten it. So he took the screw. He because for नाप के लिए और model ढूंढने के लिए, he went into the airport only, that store में चला गया to like the shop. वहाँ पे एक बैठा है, that the engineer is sitting there. He said while going inside, later on investigation revealed. While going inside, he asked, what do you want? No, nothing like it. I just want, I'll pick it up. Don't worry, he said. Pilot said. So ठीक है, there's nothing serious about it. He went. He searched there, here and there, and he took that screw. So this बराबर लिख रहा है. Then he tightened it. You know what happened? In the mid-air, the windscreen glass was blown off. And the heavy pressure of the air inside whole cockpit and pilots were lifted up into the cockpit. They held tightly. Immediately, the other pilot brought the flight into the lower regions. Altitude reduced suddenly, nose dive, and somehow they saved. But in the meanwhile, the pilot was deeply hurt. Nobody died. He was hospitalized with the bandage and all everywhere. And then, because he was sucking out by then other pilot held him tightly, and therefore he hit his entire rib area and stomach area, deeply operated. Later on, why this is blown off? They investigated. Air crash investigation or that air accident investigation. Then they found that very simple negligence, small screw. Similarly, if you let any conflict remain as it is with the family members or conflict within you or with the members, with any team, that keep on biting you inside. So, intelligently avoid not the problem. Not the problem you are addressing. But somebody's misbehavior, somebody in a team mentally is there. Don't give importance to his mental attitude certain times, not the actions. Hope you are getting it. Suppose somebody is thinking bad about me, I can ignore it. Doesn't matter. I continue to love, unless he does some action negatively which is hampering the teamwork. Then I can take action. Certain times, I must learn how to intelligently avoid. Certain things are directly not involved in our work. Like I tell you an example, A intersection B. Intersection area is very important. A minus A intersection B, B minus A intersection B is not relevant to either A. A is need not worry about the other part of unintersected area of the B, and B should not be worried of other part of unintersected of area of A, because they don't directly come in the middle in this one, but they can influence the middle section. So I must know how to avoid intelligence avoidance, so that unwanted things I can avoid, so that focus can be brought back to the work again. So avoid insistence. Sometimes lessons learned in a hard way would benefit the team for longer time rather than the celebration of short-term success. Okay. 7th step, understanding the limitations of people around you. Practice patience and avoid becoming a patient. So, everybody is limited. You are limited. Your members are limited. We are not perfect human beings, I tell you. If we are perfect human beings, we would have realized the truth. The God, our consciousness would be expanding into the universe level. We are not perfect. We have so many weaknesses in the mind. Jealousies are there, hatred is there, envy is there, restlessness is there, comparison is there, aspirations are there. But according to the aspirations, we don't work. And some aspirations, I know I am not fit for it. Yet I will not give up aspiration. And somebody is fit, I got it, and I feel jealous about, envy about it. So everybody is limited in their own performance, is limited. So understand, as a leader, if you are a leader, understand the limitations of people. So be patient. So train yourself in patience first before you train others in various skills. So individual excellence may not yield much for a group. Individually, one person is excellent, but a team is not good. It won't give you very good result. Okay. 8th, very important. Values protect you from unwanted things and beings. Suppose, example I'm giving. My value, I'm talking personal value. My value is, actually, no, I cannot give up WhatsApp because so much of communication comes, so many files will come, and so many, I have to edit certain things also, some design will come, seek for approval, so many things are there. Okay. But then I have a rule that whenever I'm in morning my meditations, or whenever I'm puja, or when I'm in work, or when I'm in lecture, or when I take nap even for 15 minutes, or when I go to bed, certain things are mostly mobile is off. That's my value. Because of that value, I'm not worried who will call me. Hey, do call karna. That is their problem to find out me. It's not my problem. So I can afford to make the switch. Some professions, they cannot do that. I'm asking, so telling an example. Don't again stretch the example and make it Bhayankar. It cannot be true. Police cannot do that. Doctors cannot do that. So certain professions cannot do that. Example I'm giving you. Since my value is this switched off. Because of that value, healthy value, for me it is healthy. I am actually saved from disturbances. Mind is not disturbed. Otherwise, phone call comes. Entire the heartbeat goes up. Suppose I'm taking nap for 15 minutes. Suddenly the nap also goes away. Actually, nap should have given me some rest. Because of the phone call, more BP increased. So you practice values. They protect you. All those values. Certain general values are there. They have to be always practiced in entire life. Kindness, compassion, focus, etc. So values offer a protective shield. It helps you in measuring the angle of deviation from your chosen path of excellence. How much you deviated, a value can tell you. If there's no value, you can't measure deviation. It bestows conviction and courage. Now, this is psychological time. I'm not going to explain. This is a very big slide. And psychological time means what? Physical time is different. Psychological time is, suppose you like the talk, 1 hour is equal to 5 minutes. You don't like the talk, 1 hour is equal to 1 Mahayuga. But in what happens, suppose in the class you are teaching, our students are listening. For students, the class is boring. It becomes 40 minutes period is equal to 30 minutes or 40 minutes period is equal to a big Mahayuga it is for them. So I am not talking them how to manage, but I am telling you, how do you manage? So you manage that psychological time it is. So you should not allow the mind to draw its own conclusions. You must be living in the present so that you can manage the psychological time well. I think that's enough. I'm not going deep into it. Last one is prayer and meditation. So every day, please practice some prayer, some meditation, which will harmonize the entire functions of your mind and intellect. Mental capacity, sagacity will increase. It evokes appropriateness in the intellect. How to act in a given period of time that it evokes appropriate behavior. It evokes in the buddhi, and ultimately this will give you a great growth for excellence. So thus, I have completed 10 points. May you discover excellence in and bring it out, its fragrance all around in your life. Thank you very much. Congratulate me. 12:34. I stopped. Hari Om. Over to the panelists. Bye.
Thank you, Swamiji. I express my indebtedness to you, Swamiji, on behalf of Maharishi Patanjali Group of Schools for this enlightening and invigorating session, which I am sure will strengthen our spirit and enable us to transmit this positive energy to our students. I'm always inspired by the quote of Puji Gurudev Chinmayanandaji, "Some act till they meet the obstacles, some act in spite of obstacles and conquer them, but some act not fearing the possibility of some obstacle that might arise en route." So, without taking much of your time, I would now like to call upon the principal of Patanjali Rishikul, Mr. Nityanand Singh, to briefly sum up this stupendous session, which has definitely proven to be a source of guiding factor in these troubled times and has uplifted us. So welcome, Nityanandji.
Hari Om, and greeting to all the divine souls. Pujya Swamiji, my salutations and processions to you, and kindly accept our heartiest thanks for showering on us the nectar of love, compassion, and thy excellence. I have been asked to sum up today's discourse by Swamiji. Undoubtedly, it is a privilege for me, but it is a quite difficult task to simultaneously sum up such vast experiences and insights given by Swamiji. Swamiji, I have your blessings, and indeed, we all are grateful to you for your benedictions and providing guidance based on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, for facing the present challenges positively and moving forward with professional excellence in the field of education and other fields. As Swamiji said, that excellence is spontaneous channelization of energy. It is all about the quality of mind and awareness. And we educators, our schools, are for giving birth to new and creative minds, awakening the young minds towards a spontaneous integration and holistic outlook, observation for a wholly different way of living. And to carry out this Swadharma of educators, today Swamiji has empowered us by sharing 10 steps towards professional excellence. The first and the foremost step is realizing that excellence is our birthright, which implies that we should have clarity of thought, purity of intention, dynamism in action. The second step is increasing our knowledge on daily basis, that is every day, gaining life knowledge, updating ourselves and translating knowledge into action. The third step is managing our mind tactfully, that is intelligently. The fourth step, Swamiji said, identification with various roles in life that we play, that forms the platform of excellence, that is respecting our work, honoring the role and dedicating to our duty. The fifth step is regularity and sincerity are wheels of chariot of excellence. Regularity without sincerity leads to mechanical action, whereas sincerity without regularity leads to ineffective, imperfect action. The sixth step is dissolving the conflicts with members around us intelligently and with intelligent avoidance and avoiding insistence. The seventh step is understanding the limitation of people and ourselves, that is practicing patience. Eighth step is, and that is the very important one, and that is living with values, because values protect us from unwanted things and beings. The ninth step is managing psychological time. And the 10th step is doing prayer and meditation because it harmonizes function of mind and intellect. Swamiji, we are sure that your wisdom and guidance based on the transcendental knowledge and liberating vision of Srimad Bhagavad Gita will help all of us to liberate ourselves from the present day situation and reach a state of balance, inner stability, mental peace, and complete freedom from grief, fear, and anxiety to perform our actions with professional excellence. Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Nityanandji. I'm sure the session must have stirred all your souls and many questions must be coming to your mind. So questions are invited from all of you. You can write your questions in the question answer box, or you can send us your questions through email to our school address. We have requested Swami Chidrupanandji to please allow us to organize a question answer session on 10th of June between 12 noon to 1 p.m., wherein your queries would be answered by Swamiji himself. Now I would like to invite my co-principal and my friend, Mrs. Alpana Dey.
Sushmita, there is only one question in the chat box. I want to read that.
Okay.
If Swamiji can answer, because there's only one question right now. Focus on work without deviation is understandable. Furthermore, why the leader is anticipated to be multitasking, and that too with perfection.
Poor leader, what can I do? Now listen, higher you go, you must have more talents to do the job. Now, for example, bank employees, they are rotated in every department. Do you know that, no?
Yes.
You know why they rotated? Before they are promoted as assistant managers and managers, they should know what is the total functioning of the bank. Then only the person can become manager. Suppose I know only teaching and no administration, I cannot be a principal. Very clear. If the principals are unhappy, I can't help it. Whoever is listening, you must know how to administration also. No, I am a principal. Only I am learning. I learned. I never learned. But you cannot say this as principal. So higher you go, to handle the multiple talents, a leader should have. No, I cannot handle. Then don't become a leader. Now, for example, see the pity of our Swamis. We have studied only Vedanta. But we have to address all corporate worlds also, the children also, the teachers also, everybody. No, I cannot say that, that means what? I must prepare well. The higher we travel in life, more demands will come. So because of public only, I have to learn computer, I have to learn typing, I have to know how to organize Zoom and how to fix a camera to it. Everything, Sansara, every day morning starts, at 10:30 onwards, Sansara begins. So the higher I go, more talents are required to handle. So leader is expected. So actually take it as a great blessing that you are asked to become a multifaceted personality. It's a blessing. You got an opportunity to become like that. So be happy. Don't crib about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. That gives us really a great inspiration. Now I would like to invite my co-principal and my friend, Mrs. Alpana De, Principal, Ganga Gurukulam, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shushmita ma'am first. John F. Kennedy has rightly said, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. And today you have done it, Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji. Thank you for an enriching session. You have always blessed us with your love and affection in the past, when you shared the important principles of Bhagavad Gita in a very simple manner. And today, your panacea, that is solutions for overcoming difficulties and converting them into possibilities during this pandemic, has surely helped all of us. Your examples were food for everyone's mind and soul. We assure you to implement these ideas in our real life and serve the society better. Thank you, Swamiji, for all the previous sessions, but we look forward to many more sessions in the future too. Maybe some offline and some through online. I express my sincere gratitude to the governing body, some senior members of Chinmay Mission, management of various schools, and some principals of Prayagodaya or Zoom. I would also like to thank some members of the other Sahoday, that is in Varanasi, in Lucknow, and in Delhi. I would like to thank the principals who have joined us from different parts of the city. That is, I was informed by somebody that they have joined us from Delhi, from Lucknow, from Indore, teachers from across the country. Many teachers have joined us through Facebook Live, and most of our teachers have joined on Zoom. Today's session was the sincere and collective effort of our management, my parallel colleagues and principals, coordinators, teachers, especially the IT department of Patanjali Group of Schools, who made this session so vibrant, so successful. As Krishna ma'am said in the beginning, that there is a paradigm shift in the field of education. Teachers have to become warriors. And today, Swamiji's guidance will help us to move ahead in the right direction. I hope we carry forward the message given by Swamiji today. Actually, he has provided the panacea during the crisis in a capsule. Thank you once again, and Hari Om to all the members who have joined us. I am aware of more than 200 participants on Zoom, and I'm sure we have around more than 200 participants on Facebook Live also. And we'll be very happy to share the recording to more friends who are working in the same field and working for humanity and society. Thank you, and Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om. So we will chant Purnamadaha, then we can discuss.
Swamiji, we already,
Yeah.
sorry to
Bolo,
distract you.
bolo.
We already have our teachers with this closing chant.
Oh, very good, very good. Please do.
Right. So thank you, Alpana. We have come to an end to a highly enriching webinar. So let us conclude this session with a concluding chant sung by the teachers of MPVM, Shri Soumitra Guha, Srimati Vinita Singh, and Srimati Deepa Rani.
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् पूर्णमिदं पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Thank you, teachers. Before I sign off, I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to the 4 dynamic people who worked continuously behind the screen and made today's webinar a success. I request them to please put their videos on so that everyone can see and applaud their efforts. So they are Shri Shubhodip Chatterjee, Shri Sharad Srivastava, Shri Ashraf Ali, and Shri Rakesh Kumar Pathak. Thank you all for making this webinar a success, and I thank all the participants for your valuable contribution in making today's session a grand success and inspiring. Thank you, Swamiji, for being with us. Thank you.
Hari Om.
One more announcement is there. On the 10th of June at 12 noon, Swamiji has agreed very generously to answer our questions. So I will request the teachers that please reflect on whatever you have heard today, and I'm sure questions will come to your mind. So mail it, send it through WhatsApp to your principal, and we will definitely we will edit. Of course, there may be similar questions, so we will choose the questions and we will put them across to Swamiji on the 10th of June.
Please ask simple questions only. Hari Om. Bye. I'm leaving now. Bye.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.